in. Oh, you can hear double me. Whoopsie. There we go. I apologize. Scuff stream. I have to see what I can do to work it out. Screen is black. That's okay. We're just loading on into the map. I'm in a bit of a rush, so we'll just initialize on in, and fingers crossed we'll be fine. Oh. We have an invite request. Oh, for Fox. Is Fox also crashing? Maybe there's some map issues going on right now. Anyways, restarting my computer has helped a bit. I am going to be lagging while loading in everyone's avatars, but that's something else. Oh. Well, that's the thing. We've also got people joining, which might cause some lag. Such as me. I'm sorry, everyone. We're also going to be turning down my music volume. It's a little too loud, guys. But hey. At least stuff's working, right? Yeah. Okay. Not Lemon Dorm. We're going to go to the Dorm Teleport, as it will make sense. Make sure side cam's on. Yep. And steady cam. Good. We're good to go. Oh, the frame dip on having that on. Maybe the rendering's a bit fucked up. Who knows? But we're okay for now. And it will remain that way. And back in character. Well, Cecilia wanted to have a conversation, didn't you? Can't imagine what it's about. Oh. Hello, you two. Apologies, I got a little lost on the way.
And here, immediately flexed. Things are still a little bit rough, but we'll see.
Yes, yes.
Val is in the medical. He will come back once he's on painkillers. The seers have not returned. No one knows where they are.
Ah, right.
They
Well...
They were with the goddess, weren't they? Goddess.
Yes. I suppose she is a goddess.
Was it just them with the goddess, or did one of the professors come with?
Professor Tel'Kahras with them.
Oriana.
Yes, and Oriana.
Okay, that is good.
For whatever reason. Now, since it's probably important that we wait for them before having this team meeting, of course we need Val as well, I do have something to query both of you on, which is something Professor Mordred had mentioned to me, actually. Did either of you notice the ruins amongst the location?
I did, yes.
What do you think of them? What comes to mind? Anything?
I didn't think of anything in the moment.
Similar to here.
Right. And we know the Fae to be quite unruly, so should such buildings resemble those of the Academy, we could assume that the previous occupiers perhaps had territory built out there in Fae lands itself.
I overheard a conversation between the Fae and their seers, and that the Fae were enslaved by the Lindales, yes, the ones that...
Right, so it was then taken...
The family that owned this place before.
Yes, yes.
The Linettes, I believe I heard their name.
The Linettes, yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yes, they were enslaved by the Linettes, is what I overheard. And,
Okay.
therefore, our relations may be tense, seeing that we are using the old captive's base of operations.
Wasn't Bombadil and two students pulling up stuff saying it's... Oh, never mind. It's probably unimportant.
No, please, entertain
this
that.
whole
Nay,
place was-
everything is important.
this whole-
Please go on.
This whole place was the Linettes, right?
Yes.
And they were pulling up a bunch of old equipment from the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's and be drawn from there.
Oh,
Nay, I'm fairly certain they were just
Listen-
doing experiments of some kind down there. Considering this
Right,
is an
fair enough.
island far away from civilization, off the records.
of course.
Right, then it's probably nothing.
Well, it's always important to question everything you see, Rowan. It's the best way to
well,
survive.
I think Ignis might have been involved as well, and I've learned to not Ignis, Umbra was involved as well.
Umbra.
No, and Ignis. Ignis was there too. There's a lot of squads there gathered around when they're pulling out. It's probably just them fucking around, to be honest.
It's,
Nay, there's an Aethertech laboratory down there.
yes.
I saw an Emma rummaging through the things earlier, but this was all before that it was walled up. With the premise of a rift being beneath the academy.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
God, you think I wouldn't forget about that?
Not treading down there right now. Yes.
Oh God, no! I have no intention on it.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Professor
used to be
Neller asked you
freaking-
to.
But
Right.
is he here?
Oh, no, it's just something.
Nelly, you have an obligation to tell us if you're here if we ask.
No.
Hmm.
Perhaps he's just watching from the distance. He's rather ethereal, after all. Now, back to my small point on those ruins. Mordred had also pointed out something of interest. Not a single vine was
There's
growing
the
on
dark
them. They were untouched by nature, in perhaps the most verdant location I've ever seen with my own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Perhaps there's residual magic still on it.
Perhaps. Now,
I
yes, go ahead.
go on. I didn't see a good point to what get a good look at what she was changed to. What bound in? I didn't really see it. I was doing medical. Was it the same type of structure as that, or?
No, more stones of some kind with sigils on them. I will admit I didn't get the closest look myself as I was
they had
making sure our
sigils on
team
them.
was... Yes. That said, we do have two
There's quite a
individuals who were very heavily involved, so I'm sure we can ask them when they arrive. Whenever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we also have had Faye present. Maybe they can ask them for a lead.
That is good.
Yes.
You can see what
They were there for
the
a
two
while,
learned
right?
on their journey. Mhm.
Well, all things said...
That's a scary thought, but go on. Sorry.
No worries. With all said and done, everyone still lives. Injuries, whilst some have certainly been more severely injured than others, well, nothing life-changing, so it seems our gambit, provided that this goddess can provide whatever boon she did offer, was worth it.
Mhm.
I only see good coming
I
out of
agree.
it.
I don't disagree.
And if I may say so as well, you both performed incredibly admirably. Rowan, for your first time out in combat, I'm quite astounded. You held fast and fought through a loss of energy.
Luckily, Kingsley kind of had the brunt of most of them.
Of course,
I-
but do not
But
let
that was
that...
both of your jobs.
Yes,
Good man. Mhm.
you both did
Kingsley's
excellent.
supposed to take the brunt of it, and you were there to follow it.
Right. And plus your shield, I'd probably be dead. So, I didn't even think to use mine. Oh gods.
It's
Not a
fine.
glow
There's
in
a
front
time
of
to learn,
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is best that you learn fighting Faith that do not want to fight back versus a Rifted Beast.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it is a little difficult to apply such a spell in the middle of combat, especially when the majority of it comes from surprise.
Yeah, that's fair.
They were striking from the bushes after all. Poor bastards.
May I ask where your magic hails from? What school? What
Uh,
element?
Divine magics, yeah.
Yes, divine magic can be tricky to use in combat. It requires you to be in a state of mind adherent to its philosophies. Whether that is to be calm, or to be prideful, or to be selfless. If you do not embody one of those, your magic will not spread.
Yeah, and truth be told, besides the healing aspect, I didn't really even think to try. Something I need to get used to, I'm sure. But I also didn't want to walk around glowing.
Of course, perhaps a good point you've made there. You would stand out amongst the bushes we were hiding in.
Save fucking shoulder, though. Ooh.
I feel that. I feel like we all have our injuries to remember this interesting expedition. How about yourself, Cecilia? Anything at all?
Nay, my magic had warded it away.
Excellent.
I'm fine.
Glad to hear.
Not unexpectedly, I think Tara got the worst of it.
Yes, well, when they take the front, that does happen. If I must say, I am incredibly glad that they were the ones at the front, as I believe they were the most capable team
Yeah, I
at the
agree
time.
with that.
You're not?
Nay. Jackson's leadership was far from adequate.
Ah, yes. He was a little slow at times.
Yes. And because of that, then his team faltered and they looked to him for an answer. And many times we were halting when we should be moving and moving when we should be halted. That or there was no
That's
recommendation.
I do agree with your
That's
evaluation.
I agree fully with there.
His ability to call out in such situations is certainly lacking, but I was implying more so their team's composition, perhaps. I believed it to be rather suitable to the front line in this particular situation. Had it have been ourselves, after all, we already had Kingsley up at the front, alongside ourselves assisting off the sides, I fear it may have been a bit of a different story for wounds. And well, I can't really comment much for Umbra. I didn't see much of them, but if I must admit again, in terms of leadership, they did lag behind at times.
They did, yeah. Our formation turned from being a triangle into being a line.
That it did. But
So most often I was relaying orders to them from the front.
that is always something, Cecilia. Despite our altercations, you've always done well at relaying orders. It's just a shame not everyone could look at you as suitable to do so. Oh well. Ah, Anura, welcome.
Am I interrupting?
No, you're more than
No.
welcome to join.
We were waiting on you and Kingsley.
Kingsley, lost.
I see.
Has to return to the medical ward fast.
Right, and Val is still, well, having his wounds treated, I
He
suppose.
told me to come here,
Good.
so
I'm glad. That means we're forming together. Well, we'll give Kingsley a moment and Val too, and then we'll begin our debriefing. But until then, I was just talking about how excellent of a job I believe everyone did this mission. Especially with the consideration it was rushed, we had little time to prepare for deployment. And, I dare say, compared to other teams, I had little knowledge to involve you all with, you see. Despite our discussions, of course I refer to the ones that I had with you and with Kingsley, there was much more contribution to be made from the other teams during the team meeting, but what can be said when I struggle to get you all in one place sometimes, it would appear.
I'm pretty sure it's just people flexing today.
Yes, I'm sure I've had my own share of troubles with it too. Well, anyways, so, what is the news from the goddess, as it were? All is good, I hope?
Yes. She seems to be resting. She said the island will slowly start returning to normal. Our harvest may even improve.
Oh. Great.
That's good.
The less time I have to spend worrying about poisoned food and drink, the better.
It's best to remain wary for now. She's still awake. God knows how long she was there.
Of course, if she was entrapped by the Lynnettes previously, then... well, that's an awfully long time, even for a god, I'm sure.
How powerful are the Lynnettes to be able to entrap a god? Did she say they tricked her, or any context given on that?
Yes. She has not given us context, no. She was tricked.
Tricked, okay.
Well, if I may add some to that, there was mention of a potential conjurer who has bound them, so we could assume this all down to the power of one individual, or perhaps a school of individuals. After all, this was a fortress beforehand with a full village that paid tribute, so we could assume that a standing army of mages could be a possibility.
Perhaps.
Perhaps a great war between the Lynnettes and the Fae.
I guess they did have all that siege equipment here. Ooh, look that way. I guess it would make sense why this isolated place has so much siege equipment. And it's not the Fae itself, but a large standing force. Do you think any of the villagers would have any more information on that?
Of course, they have some shared history with the Lynnettes that's been passed on down to them. Perhaps we could ask.
But they would know if they have a force of, like a large force of mages though, right?
I'm not sure if that is information that's been given very well.
No. Perhaps there are
However, we
records
did
somewhere
have-
here.
Perhaps. Maybe perhaps they have for that. On our way here, me and Ivian were confronted by one of the village people from here. Asking if Kia was safe, having previous knowledge of the goddess herself. So
I suppose it makes sense.
she's not an unknown face on this arm, it seems.
You know, it does beg the question. Has the island always been dying from an entrapped goddess, or has this only happened recently because someone's forced it upon us?
I was kind of curious about the same, but go on. You have more information than me.
Well, on that regard, I'm afraid I don't have anything, but there is the... For all we know, other parts of the island have been dying for a long time. We haven't seen much of it.
You could be correct there. Yes, it just happened to hit here at the last moment. Well, I suppose it's best that it hit here
We could
before
as
it
well.
hit the villages, right?
Very much. It could have maybe helped as well that the glen is nearby, and Colonel's presence could have
Glenn?
left it off for a while.
feel like I'm missing a...
So, a glen is like a home place, I should say.
Okay.
That's where they are.
Or the fair, yes.
Right, okay.
Where she is, really.
Makes sense.
You know, Oriana went with you, didn't she?
She was requested to, yes.
Any reason why? Did you happen to catch into it just out of interest? Gives me something to talk about when I next speak to Lefron.
I'm not quite sure. She thanked Oriana personally, and could have just been that. I don't know. I do not.
How odd. After all, if we consider things, we're all being thanked by the spirits. Oh, sorry, not the spirits, the Fae. We're all being thanked by the Fae as they approached us, and... Yes.
It might be something about Oriana herself. Just her person.
Is she a seer?
I don't think so. Not that I know of. She's not been requested before.
No.
Right.
It's the first time.
Although... Who knows? I guess I'll find out off Lefron. I'm sure he'll learn everything. Well...
if she's not being told to keep secrets, then.
Of course, but I can get a secret out of Lefron very easily, and I'm sure as her team captain he's capable of getting one out of her. It is Ignis after all, isn't it?
She's not like the other members of Ys.
I suppose you're right.
Excluding Philia, she was largely the one with the best head on her shoulders.
You're correct on that. I dare say Philia is probably taking that spot now, I must admit. Unless Oriana's a secret Avatech genius.
Oriana seems more confident, though.
That I would agree on. Well, sometimes we grow into confidence or have it thrust upon
Very
us.
true.
You know what? I'll take the throne, why not? Beau will hate me when he gets back here, but... I don't care. Great. Well... Did anyone care for a fire?
No.
Ah. Speak of the devil.
Sure. Hello.
Would you like me to check the med bay?
Of course, if you could see how Kingsley's holding up if they are there.
Alright.
We'll wait a little
Unfortunately
longer.
not dragged off by Professor Neller.
I see. No worries, we're just having... discussions. We haven't debriefed yet. My arm. Damn it. This wasn't a good idea. Oh well,
Do you all feel
anyone give me a hand?
About a
Rowan,
successful
do you wish to
mission.
sit somewhere more comfortable, or do you enjoy the floor?
What did you mention,
I
Val?
don't want to stand up.
How do you all feel about a successful mission?
Quite pleased, actually. If I must say. And yourselves? Come on.
I find it to be quite lacking.
Is that our team, or would that be your comments about the others?
Everyone.
Well, go ahead. Please, state them
Should
openly.
wait for the rest of the group.
All right. If you feel it's fitting to throw into the debrief, then very well. Hold your tongue for now.
If it
then.
emerges, yes.
Let's see.
We must be honest with ourselves if we're to move forward.
Of course.
I must say it is weird having sleeves again.
You know,
Well, is it just for today, or are you thinking about sticking to it?
Gods no. It's so stuffy in this thing.
I imagine they
I've
must
eaten.
stick as well.
Well, with the amount of leather wrapped around all the metal bits to make sure it doesn't rip any of the more important clothing items. It's rather uncomfortable.
Well, feel free to get changed if you'd like, Val. Roll up the sleeves, take it off.
It will take some time to readjust the armor back onto my arm,
Ah, I see.
and it is a danger to leave it open as such. Lots of moving gears, don't want any Madari losing a hand or two. You know how they get. Their little grabby hands.
Of course. I know that all too well. Speaking of which, has anyone had the Madari being particularly nasty to them as of recent?
Yeah. Yes.
They beat up Rowan pretty good.
Ah. Excellent.
Hit him in the back of the leg with a hammer, you know, the usual.
Ah, yes. It's good training, you'll
They
get
were
used to
going
it.
But I gave them other orders.
I see you commanded them away.
How that works. I'm gonna try it next time. I'm gonna
It
pretend
is.
it's really
You need to be
serious.
stern when expecting of them, and they will follow. It is in their nature. This is what they were trained on.
Of course, just be aware that you're going against Professor Nella's orders to them, so by commanding them, you're technically, what? Throwing yourself above him? And he is our team's advisor, after all.
Right.
If I might throw a small bit of advice, Rowan. Sure, a hammer to the back of the foot does indeed hurt. But it keeps you on your toes. And I dare say, we all need to be on our toes. Something could come up and tomorrow we'd have to head out again.
Wouldn't ordering the Madari be exactly what Nella asked us to do?
No.
Defend ourselves from them?
Well, he didn't really ask us to do anything with them. He just said it was more for his entertainment. I've just come to...
Then we are not going against his orders.
I suppose. Would you say you've learned anything from it?
No.
A shame.
Nope.
How to do the lesson, anyways. Classic
Only
Pelfandor
once
training.
Back of the knee.
Why a shame? It was not meant to be a lesson.
No, just...
Right, it's not a lesson.
well,
Except it is.
in his own special way. After all, he wouldn't be giving me advice to respond in a certain manner myself after a private conversation. But of course for my own training, so perhaps it was a lesson meant exclusively for me while you all got beaten up senseless by Madari. But I doubt that's the case.
What did he tell you?
Well, for me, it was about understanding the flow of my mana and how to react at the opportune moment using it. Something ideal for my defensive capabilities, of course. When I understand or get a feeling that something will hit me from the back, if I'm able to get out of the way and disappear before that even happens, I'm at an advantage all of a sudden. It's an interesting way to look at it. I'd only ever really focused on using my spellcasting from the front, yet with Professor Nella's hint, after a charming conversation, now I find myself considering attacks from all angles and how to better myself within those parameters.
I believe that's for you, Tel'Kahras.
It is. Well, I trust Anura and Kingsley will be back within time and you can keep yourselves entertained. I'll be back shortly. And if they do not arrive and you're feeling tired, please let me know and we'll begin the debriefing and I'll have to pass it on. It'll just be a shame. And Cecilia as well, I'll be awaiting our conversation, of course. I'll make sure there's enough time.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to have that conversation in private, or would you like to have it in the open?
I've always believed in talking in the open, even if yesterday's affairs were
Then
not
we'll wait for the
correct.
others for that conversation as well.
Excellent. Well, see you all soon. I must be quick. Oh, my arm. Quickly now, Tel'Kahras.
Whenever you guys are ready, I'll just go tell Ignis. This is the library.
Reporting. Counselor.
Are you injured?
Just ache snuffing. It has been tended to.
Fine for a mission. What an idiot.
Good.
I thought it was a sign.
Captain.
Greetings.
Oh,
Alright,
okay.
so
I
3
assumed
men of
it
the
was
hour.
the wine and the beer.
Perfect. Well, if the others don't show up, then I guess it'll just be a debriefing amongst us, but that should be fine. We'll give them another brief little while to show up.
How are you two holding up?
Was
Decent.
Got a
Kind
of a deep gash on my shoulder, but other than that,
Same.
in bed at the moment, feeling ill. And Lothar is busy with the medical service.
Alright,
That left is Ventus.
we are missing Ventus.
Ventus.
Missing his uniform.
Well, they show up or they don't. Either way. If they don't, they'll be punished for it later. But please head inside.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, God.
Dear me. All right, captains. I have heard of victory. And I am very happy to hear that. So, I would like a debrief from what it was like down on the field. Luca, if we could start with you.
I think the team stuck to the formation fairly well, even in the chaos of battle and in the worst parts of it. We were still able to reorganize and reform. And the captains did good at communicating with each other in the middle of everything going on.
Good. Tel'Kahras, was there anything strange you noticed out on the mission?
Yes, well, ignoring, of course, a mention of our teams, there was indeed, as Professor Mordred has pointed out to me, and I've had discussions with my team regarding this, ruins located around the Fey lands, I suppose. Similar in nature, some might say, to the castle itself, but Professor Mordred did make very clear mention there was no vines growing over them. And
Oh, actually, that reminds me.
go ahead.
On the wall, I saw a kind of a weird marking, like a four-leaf clover made of knots. I don't know if that's anything important, but
Yes, there were
Seemed
many
like
runes
some kind of
scattered
rune.
everywhere. I managed to turn one of the little creatures away from its curse and asked it for information. One of the runes it identified as a rune of the traitor. I don't know much more than that, unfortunately.
Well,
Interesting.
from what I understand, runic magic is indeed something, correct? Such as the inscription you've been pushing for us to learn for our blades. Perhaps such ancient words also hold power in their own. Just a thought, of course.
Oh, they would be very powerful, yeah.
We'll have to go study them. And Jackson, anything you would like to add about the mission?
We entered the canyon, made our way along the path to the best of our ability. After crossing into heavy ruins, where many runes were on many stones, which appeared to be ritualistic magic in nature, we were swamped by the majority of the hostiles, but we made a point not to kill any of them, only neutralizing with non-lethal attacks. Discovered the target was restrained at a makeshift altar, what was left of one, and broke the runes to free her. Afterward, the hostile creatures returned, or became significantly less hostile, and getting back wasn't as much of a chore, but
Of
got it
course.
done as fast as we could, sir.
So the destruction of these runes freed whatever curse or bindings were on these creatures.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
and apologies. If I may, the creatures seem to be well aware of this, informing the seers during the chaos, of course, to destroy the runes, so they were well aware ahead of time.
I see.
Interesting.
During the fight.
We saw no other
some of
signs of
the-
life, only the Fae.
During the fights, some of the Fae were also apologizing for their actions and asking for help while attacking. Most
Yes.
likely they were physically controlled, but not mentally.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yes,
Wow.
coherent
Mm.
speech while being attacked and attacking.
I'll have to admit, individually, the curses weren't very hard to lift from the few I did it to. Although they were still quite strong.
Interesting. Alright.
So is it more based on complexity, or is it more on the depth of the spell itself?
Sorry.
Hmm.
Do you
Please
still
join us.
require me or no,
Yes.
Chancellor?
Actually, this would be a good time to ask. What can you tell us of Kier?
Are you talking as in that I'm a bit confused about what?
You're going to need to speak up.
I'm a bit confused about what you're asking.
What can you tell me about Kier, the goddess we saved?
Well, she said to us that the people previous who were here before us enslaved her, so she could have been at that location for years, and only now has it started to affect the lands.
Did she say who this deceiver that I've heard mentioned of, who they were?
Lynn? I cannot remember the name. I know, Honora knows it.
Lynette?
Lynette?
The Lynnettes.
The people previous here, the people who used to live here.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it, yeah.
This
Apparently
was
they were the people who enslaved
re-
her.
relatively recent then.
Zanura said.
Maybe in the last...
I recall the
between 10,
name
20
brought up.
years.
A previous who attended had some sort of connection with the Lynnettes. I don't know much about them, but yes,
From what
they
I
did
understand-
make a mark here.
They are the people who Alea bought the castle from at a very cheap price, might I add.
I can see why if they fucked with the Fae and had to escape quickly. Left us to sort out their mess.
Wonderful. But that at least explains that. And Lynette was also the one whose notes were in the alchemy lab in the basement.
Yes.
All of that weird shit down there. Yes, the Lumen.
Yes, if I may. It had come up in discussion beforehand as Anura had returned and we were filled in to a degree on the relation with Kier. But from our understanding with the ruins that were there, we had hazarded a guess at them being perhaps belonging to the Lynnettes, that, of course, if they had enslaved them, that it doesn't make sense that everything all of a sudden started going bad here unless it had been happening for a long time to other parts of the island. Could it have been a deliberate attack by the Lynnettes, perhaps, or whoever sold the castle? Perhaps a preposterous thought, but still.
It may be worth seeing what the Lynnettes are up to today, where they have found their home.
Could be also worth checking those ruins and ruins again.
Absolutely.
If the purpose of them were to control Kier's mana, it's very possible that it started to reach a point where it was drawing too much than she could recover. Prolonged injury, leading to her being too weak to maintain the forest of the island.
How was her health?
Well, when she was... But before we actually got there, they kept screaming that she was dying. So, she is slowly recovering now that she's back.
You might be onto something. So the issues could be that things were getting bad enough for her that it was reflecting bad on the island itself.
Or
Since we are so close to her glen.
Or she forcefully released mana, kind of put a quicker end to things.
Cry for help, perhaps. Perhaps.
We're unsure.
Still many questions. But I have one more question for the team captains that were on this mission. Based on your teams, do you have any merits or demerits you wish to bring forth? Anyone who stood out as being great, or those who stood out as fucking up, that we should be aware of?
Very well.
I'd like to state that all of Umbra, well, they fell in line with orders and performed as optimally as they could.
Good.
I would like to state that amongst my team, Kingsley, of course, performed very admirably, considering... yes, we're talking about your merit out in the open, but considering the circumstances, I believe Kingsley handled himself excellently. If I may additionally add, for a demerit, but with a question posed to Professor Tel'Kahras, Val had found himself drifting quite often from our formation. I have come to understand he was given permission to by you, at least in one occasion.
Correct.
Very well, then.
The smaller Fae, who was staring down the open... or the area that was open between where he was hiding and where the team was. His options were either stay or dash across and hope he doesn't lead all of the Fae to the rest of his team.
I understand, then he performed admirably.
So he chose to stay hidden.
Good. Then I'd like to put a merit out in place for his suggestions for spotting. He was as useful as Professor Mordred was over communications for our team.
I agreed, I noticed that as well.
Wonderful. And Tara?
I believe under the circumstances, Terra performed as good as I could expect them to. I could have done better in direction, sir. But they all stuck to formation and remained focused.
It sounds like if everybody stuck to formation and remained focused, then you aren't so much as a fuck-up as you might believe yourself to be. Get that. So what I'm hearing is that this mission overall was a resounding success.
If I may.
Very proud.
Yes, sir.
You may.
I would like to inform that Avi was indeed in a near severe state at one point. He was tended to by, of course, Cecilia and Rowan off of my team, but it was a point of concern I would like to bring up for your notice, Captain.
Thank you, Captain.
Of course.
Yes, Avi was left alone at one point next to the seer, I'm sure, trying to defend Kingsley. I had to personally see that he was given cover and was to be healed by Cecilia, who pulled him back, as well as Rowan. Umbra deserves a merit for that. Terra, I believe, could do better to stick together when we spread out more, I suppose, but I had ordered everyone to divide up and guard different areas. I think their focus was a bit scattered at the time. Whenever they broke formation, if I called them back, they would turn back and join. Whenever I told them to get behind me or go to a specific direction, they would listen to me. They were following orders. But Avi was probably taking on too much.
Well said.
That is the one point for Avi. I would highly recommend you talk to him about priorities.
Yes, sir.
Hiding the ones who were knocked unconscious. Well, yes. Use the priorities to make sure others do not realize we are passing through. When your team is actively being attacked, it is more important to move in as the shield than to drag a few small creatures to bushes.
Yes, sir.
I second that notion as well. While the stuff and hiding the bodies was important, if your main objective isn't being reached, then the secondary objective should not take full.
I won't say this is a demerit, as Avi is new to Terra, doesn't know the team's systems very well. However, have a conversation with him about this. As Captain, this is your job.
Absolutely, sir. It will be done.
Perfect. Well, unless there's anything else that would be brought up? No, then you have all had a very long day. Thank you. So, you are all dismissed. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Get some rest. We will be having lessons in a couple of days. You are dismissed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Professor Tel'Kahras.
Sorry?
I'll wait for you
I'll
outside,
be
Kingsley.
there in a moment. In regards to the talk yesterday that
Your team.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
God. Every time we get in there, I have a headache.
I feel that. I'm not sure if it's the stress or the amount of people.
You did great, Jackson.
Captain.
You did great.
Yes, good job to you all.
Well, yeah, I guess that was going to be the question, which was... Oh, you moved them again.
Alright.
How did you think my performance was as a captain? I'd asked Luca earlier. Ugh.
Well, I must admit I have a member of my team who I'll refuse to name for now, perhaps at a later point, who, well, provided rather scathing words of every team, but if I may say, I believe you handled yourself admirably considering, this was a first foray for our teams entirely into the wild, as it were. So, I think you did excellently. Nothing experience can't solve in terms of snappiness. Alright. Well, I'm afraid I have a debriefing,
Thank you for being
Captain.
a good leader.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Please
you
keep
for
up the good
guiding
work.
us, Kingsley. We were glad to have you.
Thank you.
Well,
I've had to leave my weapons at the.
I heard Chancellor Malik wanted to speak to.
He's probably
in there.
I think
We have
he's
brought
already
the
had
rest
the
of the
talk
team
though.
to you,
Yes.
hearing that you were not in the infirmary.
Yeah, sorry. I was requested to go in there as well, so.
It was very important, yes.
See, well, now we have to wait for an hour once more.
That is fine.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna have to leave my weapons in the infirmary for the night, sadly,
Alright.
because I'm not picking that up.
That's
Apparently,
fine.
I had a rib floating around. It wasn't even like attached anymore. It was just floating.
Oh,
So
How-
you left your shield behind.
Are you all
so
right
that
now?
it-
Yes, just to.
I have to
I'm
talk to
fine
you
now.
later.
I'm just in a
Are
lot
you
of pain.
done?
They had to
No,
do
I did
surgery
not
basically
start
on me
thinking I
I'm
was
gonna
gonna
go
do
find
it
Val,
after the
seeing as
with
meeting.
no
I see.
painkillers
Alright.
as well. So I'm in a
I
lot of
thought
pain.
about something, but
I'm in
we'll
a
get
shit
to
ton
it.
of pain. Oh,
I was
I
going to
shouldn't
wait
have
for
done
the
that.
chance. Actually,
If only we could relieve it somehow. Perhaps a potion.
I'll be
Or
fine
something.
in a be fine in a couple of days. It's already been magically healed. They've done what they can to it. I just need to sit down.
Of course. Take as much rest as you need.
I'll check the tech lab.
Yes.
He's probably back at the dorms, is my guess.
Kingsley, if I may ask, whilst Cecilia runs on off, I'll sit down with you.
Yeah.
I've heard from her that you felt you weren't included in team discussions, as of recent at least.
From Cecilia.
Yes, it was mentioned by Cecilia.
I don't know. It's. I feel bad because I haven't been able to contribute as much to the talks. I'm not very knowledgeable in any of the areas. I'm really only knowledgeable in the Fae.
You've been very knowledgeable
I
today, Kingsley.
I mean, that's the only area I'm good in. I mean, I lived in a fucking forest for so many years of my life. I've never really dealt with, this. Meeting people of different races and making friends with them. And even just having basic conversations.
Well,
So,
It
it's
takes
a
one to
little
know
hard
one.
for me to yeah, so it's a little hard for me to actually be able to contribute to things, and I feel really bad because then it just feels like I'm just being, the person that just needs every talk for them.
no, Kingsley, not at all. Even in there, you contributed excellently your knowledge. Again, there is nothing that I know about the Fae that isn't things that we're told by, perhaps Senua or yourself, and quite frankly, your expertise
He knows
is...
a lot more than I do.
Well, your expertise is wonderful, and I very much appreciate it. And sure,
Your input is always valid, Kingsley. We want you to be at these meetings, always.
Yes.
Yeah, I apologise for not being the most recent ones.
No, of
Well,
course,
something
you
always
have
seems to
reasons.
get in the way.
Besides, it's not like I haven't had things stopping me as well, as of recent. Right.
Yeah.
Well, any luck with Val?
Dorms.
I have a question
I'm
though.
assuming is that.
It's for you. How was your first mission?
Yes. Shall we walk to the dorms as we speak?
Oh.
Okay.
It'll tend to be like this.
I can. Okay, you got it.
No, he's like,
Okay, yeah. I was helpful, I'm sure.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I offered.
all right, let's get you some rest. Did they
Yeah.
give you painkillers or?
No, they just put numbing cream on the wound and then just called it a day.
Man, I was about to
I
offer
just had
numbing
surgery
cream.
as well. They
She often
literally
makes me
went
forget.
and put their fingers in my
They are
body. It's
pleasant.
weird. I could feel
I was
it and
about to
everything.
offer
It
you
was all
numbing
hard.
cream as well. What's
The best way we can help the rest is to stay.
Let's just.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll recover, Kingsley.
I'll recover fine. It's just that I know I'm just gonna have a big nasty scar across my chest now.
That's something for me to fix.
That should be okay to drink.
Other than that,
So we fixed the problem. You fixed the problem.
I'm unaware of the water at current is still surgery. I'm not quite sure, but of the
I've been told that it's okay.
Yes. Anura has been spirited away into a conversation for a moment, but she'll be here shortly.
Oh no, I just dragged her.
Great, thank you.
Sorry.
No worries.
Val is in the dorms then.
Yes,
Well, if Val's not at the dorms, then we'll relay it tomorrow morning.
we'll have to debrief him
We
separately.
cannot. We need everybody to be at the meeting. It wouldn't be
Oh, okay.
nice
Is it that serious? Oh shit. Okay.
Well, it is a mission debriefing, and I believe there are some important things to be said, yes. So,
Yeah, definitely.
If it is fine, I'd like to hold all of you afterwards for a secondary talk.
Okay then.
fine by me.
I'm sure there will be many questions, which is why that Val was probably needed for this. Especially considering the priorities.
Yes.
That's how you almost got stabbed by one of the members of the team.
Well, Cecilia, if I may say so, I'm glad you're being so forthcoming with whatever it is you wish to say. Part of me feared you'd be keeping your distance as much as possible.
I still very much am.
Well, hopefully
But
that
it's
can
time
change.
that we address it, now that everything is in order.
Yes.
And developments have... Your tail is in the back.
Oh. Thank you. It's very heat resistant, thankfully.
That was a close one. Oh,
Ah, Val, great.
Hello, Val.
I got dragged aside by Ophelia. She had a question on an etheric device.
Well, glad to have you here at an opportune time.
Watch your tail.
I'm keeping it out of the fire. I'm kind of worried.
Burned.
Yes.
Do you not just want to sit
Especially
down?
with that metal.
Just sit here.
I've got to stand and address you all. Come on, it's more of a show thing, but this fire's also quite nice from behind.
Tail, go sit down.
No.
Please.
It'll be fine.
Let him stand.
Right.
Alright.
So,
If he wants to display his power move, he may.
that is exactly what it is, Cecilia, I'm afraid. They all know it. Well,
Go on.
so. We're all gathered here because we've completed a mission. Quite frankly, if I may start saying, before we begin with a formal debriefing, as expertly as I can provide, you've all performed admirably in my eyes. That being from Val and your ability to scout out, and trust me, I did also check with Professor Tel'Kahras about your little stint away from the team, but it was explained. So, your judgment was good. Keep it up. Kingsley, I've already given you your merit openly, but to say and reiterate to the team briefly, you've done excellently in keeping control of your emotions, all things considered, and you have functioned excellently as a member of this team on the front line. Anura, I understand there's a fair bit of panic in your eyes, but despite that, you held strong and did what you could with your spell casting. Additionally, you always had potions on hand should they be needed. And, well, they were certainly needed, I believe. And for you two, Rowan, you know, for someone who hasn't experienced combat before, as far as I'm aware, at least against Fae, I think that's a first for all of us. Keep up the good work. That's a strong shield arm you've got, and I hope you continue to refine it. And your ability to heal may well have assisted very strongly in saving Avi's life. Or at least prolonging it somewhat.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. And Cecilia, I believe I've said this before when you were a part of this team, but whilst you can be very critical, I have always found your words and suggestions to be respectful, especially your ability to command in the midst of combat. You relayed messages rather expertly, and also made suggestions that were completely valid. I have no qualms. And you fought valiantly by my side as we defended against one of the Fae assaulting us. So thank you for doing everything you did for this team.
It is my duty.
Yes,
This is
of course.
Cecilia, actually. Some of your spells, they came in a bit of clutch. You know, they did actually come in clutch. Especially with some of
I'm
the
glad.
moments, so I thank you for watching my back out there.
Well, with that lovely endorsements given, we were sent out to go and free a captured goddess, and to not harm any Fae in the process. I am glad to report that not a single Fae was harmed. Sorry, killed. They were harmed. But all of them were, of course, knocked unconscious if required. So, well done. Not a single team has caused conflict in that way. It could have damaged our relations with this goddess irreparably, I'm sure, from what I've heard. So, going on from that, our performance during the mission, in comparison to Lindvale, you all stuck to formation very well, even with the few excuses here and there. So, I believe that complaint of mine from beforehand has been addressed rather well. Good work. When it comes to your suggestions in the midst of combat and your ability to relay your status, you also all performed excellently. Every question I asked, you would answer almost immediately, even if a little bit panicked sometimes. You all made sure to answer, which I couldn't ask for anything more. It allowed me to distribute potions when required, at risk to myself, and, well, I can find no complaints there. If anything, I would say, Rowan, when you're in trouble, please feel free to shout out to me. I'm at your side for a reason. I understand it got quite chaotic out there, but you're always free to lean on me. If you need me to take your place, please say it. I don't need to ask it of you. That's the agreement we have, yes?
Okay.
Good. I'll let you know if I can't. All right. Other than that, if we consider the other teams, their reports were positive for their own team members. I did bring up a small qualm about Avi and perhaps some overextension on his behalf, but that doesn't matter to us. Aside from he was a use of our manor as a resource, which did not affect us ultimately as a team, which is excellent. But, if I may state a little openly, there was some issues with the pacing of the mission, and especially so some decisions that were made by the head captain of the mission that I perhaps would not have made, such as the decision to split our forces to a greater extent. Additionally, Umbra at one point were considerably far back, and if a message had not been relayed, considerably far ahead, and if a message had not been relayed to them, then we would have left our escorted goddess out in the open to attack with only one team and a few professors protecting them on the off chance we were assaulted. These are some of the faults I could notice, other than, well, perhaps the same mistakes I'd make, as, after all, I'm no experienced commander, and neither are they. Of course, Kingsley.
I will say that when Sears were asked to go in the front, Sears were then told to get back in formation by other cadets, so I'm not entirely sure what was going on. I think
Yes.
it was very confusing.
Next time you need to follow the
There was a
command
lot.
of the head captain. Anyone else
Yeah,
is
that's
tells
all
you
we ended up
otherwise, you
doing.
ignore. Yeah.
But
So was
then
it students
the
who
problem
mentioned
was
this to you?
because everybody's going with what?
Was it students or other captains such as myself? And
It was mainly students that were saying go back to formation. But the problem was that they kept, well, probably, but it was so chaotic. Everybody was shouting and screaming at each other, so it was
incredibly overwhelming.
my understanding. Sorry, please continue, Kingsley.
That only happened though when we got past the bridge. That was really the main. That's where the issues started to arise.
It seemed that Jackson
But I can understand why
or
people
something. He was wandering back and forth and stumbling.
The stone
His
wall.
issues from there were greatly lacking. But that is not without the embellishments. Our team ourselves had a lot of issues. The members left behind, members that were charging forwards when they shouldn't, or had been out too long.
That was,
Members who didn't know what they were doing.
I do
These are all
feel
things
myself
that need to be
on
addressed with
charging forwards.
communication. There's been a big breakdown with this team.
If I may,
But we'll leave
Cecilia.
that after this.
Yes, of course. I just wish to make a comment on your evaluation there. As whilst I do agree that is indeed what happened, and there were times where the team had to be reined in, I understand that your maneuvers were done more so out of a wish to defend your fellow team members. Not once had I ever seen a member of this team left alone when you would run off, and that is a behavior, even if against my command, if I'm not able to give one, I would like you to keep personally. If you see a member of the team struggling...
Kingsley were left alone. What do you mean?
Val and Kingsley
was
were left...
forward, or when Val was behind.
Yes, Val was left behind due to his lingering when it came to stealth, am I correct?
Correct. I was maintaining my position as we were being watched from an enemy combatant.
Yes. And if I may...
Multiple times.
If I may additionally, Val had taken many moments to distinguish himself away from the team's formation at suggestion to me, in the words of taking a vantage point as it were. You did make an evaluation of one not being suitable, for which I disagreed and trusted his expertise, and he came back and met your statement with fact. So you were right on that, but again, I am not the one
saying
to...
that it was your plan to have Val remain behind most of the mission.
It was my plan for Val to be in the opportune place to relay information, which he had expressed as something he wished to do. Originally, I did intend to have Val keep close in formation until, well, I had intended to keep Val at a distance when it came to the stealth portion of this mission. I found that his suggestions were very, very useful for our own composition. Now, when it came to formation fighting, Val was exactly where he needed to be within my eyes. In fact, he had gone forward to assist Kingsley with a joint plan that I had approved at one point, in an attempt to strike a giant in the back, to assist Kingsley as Cheems helped out. And so, I can't find fault myself, but I would very much like for you to iterate on that in your conversation further, when we do get to that. As I believe you've clearly taken issue. Great. Well, then in that regard, I've discussed the other teams, I've discussed our performance, and we've taken some criticism here and there, which is of course appreciated very much. And now I believe it's a very important thing to check on everyone's mental state. So, I'm going to go around and I hope you can all be honest with me. How are you all feeling? Val, you first.
Peachy.
Peachy. Excellent. Face is all right too?
The painkillers do wonders.
Good. Kingsley, I hope you could get some painkillers perhaps. It might help you sleep.
I might have to go get some, but I am doing
I have some spare.
better.
I could go request some for you as well.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of pain, so but yeah, I'm doing
I
fine.
quite literally have them on me. Do you want some?
I'll get some after the meeting. We're in the middle of a meeting, so I'd rather finish this. But yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm happy mainly because of the fact that with what Kier said of the fields being able to flourish now with her back, we're able to get, our crops up and running properly, and probably even better than normal.
I look forward to good food and good harvest then. Great. Anura. Your thoughts, emotions?
I will admit that the last few days have been extremely overwhelming for me in many ways, but now that this is over, I should be doing much better.
Good. Well, I look forward to your recovery. I will iterate on that a little bit at the end, as there is one more question to ask. Cecilia.
I'm fine.
Very well. Anything else to add? Just in case, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Nay.
All right. And Rowan. Our new shield.
Exhausted. I'm glad it's over with. There's the part way through that was rough. They were screaming for help.
Yes.
But we've helped them, so.
Sometimes you have to cause a little harm to help, I suppose, right? It did throw me off too.
Yeah. We got it done. No one died, thankfully.
It is.
A lot better than the alternative. Even if it was... Yeah.
And I suppose that brings me round to myself. I'm relatively happy, I'll be honest. I was incredibly stressed out during that entire time due to some particular aspects, but I'm glad that things did not end in that way, and I feel I did indeed make the correct decision at the end of the day, and so I would like to put forward that for this mission, the inclusion of certain members of this team, who I won't name, was brought to the table as something that might not be, well, ideal for one reason or another. It was suggested by the professors that, of course, we do bring every team member and that would be final. And so, after much deliberation, it was decided that all of Team Lumen would attend this mission, despite some issues that were brought up to the air. So, I would like to openly say now that if you do wish to bring these issues to light, please, it would be nice to talk about them openly.
Instead of hiding in the basement with Anura.
And Kingsley, actually, as well. You see, it was less a case of hiding and more...
Kingsley.
That turned into more of a shouting match.
Yes, they...
shouting match from me to him and her, sadly. Yeah.
If you'd prefer that they vent their opinions out in the open in the middle of the dorm, including words that may be detrimental to the academy, I believed it was better to handle their wounded emotional states in a private conversation, much as it is for some of us better to talk among friends rather than as teammates once in a while. I believe that was the right way to approach it. Now, of course, please do correct me if you think I am wrong. I am fully open to criticism on that topic.
May I ask?
Of course.
If you two may. Or three. What was it about Val that had you talk away from the group?
About Val?
Yes, that's what the topic was, yes?
My concern was, I'm gonna be open about it because I hold no secrets at this point. Oh god, what I love that. Oh, my head.
Val already knows that you were talking in secret. So
yes, my concern was mainly the Aether Tech that you do have. That was my main concern of the Aether Tech. I can't look that way, I'm gonna have to look down, sorry. Yeah, my main concern was your Aether Tech, and I was worried that one false move and everything would break. Like, well, not break, but something bad would happen. And I was concerned, but at the same time, I know I can trust you enough to, you know...
Were you concerned about the Fae or my being?
Well,
You're
both,
certainly
really.
not concerned enough about Val to tell him openly, are you?
Eh?
It was a very high emotional situation.
I don't blame either of you. In all honesty, I
mainly my
almost came to the
concern.
same conclusion myself.
I want to point out it was mainly my concern, though, but I understand that.
I have a double-shielded matrix located on the lower left side of my abdomen.
I'm sorry,
Unless these Fae are known for going through lead or steel, I assure you that nothing vital would have been broken. I even removed my power source in my jaw for this mission.
Which I thank you for that.
The action is appreciated.
Don't get me wrong, I've been looking for an upgrade for a while now. I think I found one in some old notes up in the Aethertech lab.
Very.
Could go for a new jaw.
And if I may as well, now that that's been aired out openly, Anura, is there anything you'd like to add?
No.
Very well. Then, in that case, as a final question I pose to you all, can I trust that you will trust in my decisions as your team leader, even if at times they may seem to be working against you?
Yes.
All right.
I will admit, though, I think that because this was such a... I'm not gonna lie to you all, this was a really, really personal thing for me. Because this, in a way, relates to everything I've known. My god, you know, Gaia, one of her children, relates to her, so it did become a bit more of a personal worry, and that people would get hurt, we'd fail, we'd, you know. So,
And of course,
yeah, sorry.
We understand, Kingsley.
it is fine. In fact, Kingsley, please, you are fine to have emotional outbursts as much as you'd like. Please share your emotions with us. Your input's incredibly valid, especially
But not
your
on
emotions.
missions.
Yes, of course, not on missions.
not
Missions
on
are different.
missions.
But
No,
beforehand,
not on
yes.
missions, of course. I
And
mean,
the only
that's
reason that we asked for
Jesus.
you to share it with us is because we care about you. We want to help you through it. It's not fair for someone to go through all of that alone. It never is. But please don't put that on yourself. Yes. We're all very understanding people here, I like to think.
Yes.
Despite my snarky comments about the basement.
Well,
Which was kind of out of order, but yeah. There were some kind of rude comments towards the teachers I made as well, and I've already apologised to the professors about that. That's why I asked the captains to leave.
I see. Oh,
So I
good.
apologised
Glad you apologise.
I wasn't able to apologise to Nella.
You'll get your chance. He's our advisor.
Anybody who wants to talk
Oh,
to me.
don't bother.
Oh.
He's quite busy right now. I wouldn't recommend it.
Well, with that said, that's everything I can possibly think of to debrief on. So, with that, mission debriefing over. I'd say you're all dismissed, but I believe there is an important conversation for us to have still. Right,
Yes.
Cecilia? I'll take a seat.
Yes. Mm-hmm. This conversation has been a long time coming. I apologize for not speaking about our recent parting ways for some time now. Part of that is because I want to see the results, and part of it is because I want to gather more information. There's quite a lot of concerning things here, and this whole team thing is bigger than all of them. I would hope that you trust that I have never lied to you before, and by me saying these words now, that I am still doing so. I only ever want to be truthful with all of you. As if we stand here and we bicker and we lie, then we're not going to solve this big grand problem at hand, are we? We don't change and adapt our way. So, Tel'Kahras.
Yes.
When I handed leadership over to you, you said that when time would come, that you see me as leader again, that you would hand it back over. And I asked to hold you to your word here for the following reasons. One is that seeing what leadership has done to you. It has been eating you away. You've become more distant from us. It wasn't until today, yes, when I brought up having our talk, that you had suddenly been spurred to have a lot of group chats with everything. Kingsley has been left out of meetings. You had a conversation with Val in the basement, and I heard at dinner where the spices meet for some reason, of which I do not know. With all of this, and I trust that I've been told this information from our team members with truthfulness. And if you are not finding their words reaching your ears prior to this, as they had not told you, I can only imagine it is because they are intimidated by you. Either out of respect, because they did not want to disappoint you as your new captain, or because they fear you in some way. I would certainly hope it would be the first one. That we don't respect each other, yeah. Secondly, the most important one is that the staff do not want you as captain, and they have told me this as such. It's probably the reason why Nella was assigned to us. It's probably the reason that we are being punished. Because they do not want you in particular to lead. Most likely being because you were a doctor. And I say this not because that, we've had a conversation prior about it, yeah. And that there should be no reason that they are stopping it. But that is what they see. And it is not to the point where none of the staff will respect me or give me information because of it. And they have kept information from you, which is the very nature and topic of this mission we had just gone on. I had to go to Team Aqua to learn all about everything. Because it seems that they did not tell you for some specific reason.
Cecilia, if I may...
Every time that I speak with the professors.
Of course, if I may approach these one at a time before I'm lost in a barrage of statements that it is difficult to answer to all at once. So, to construct what you said to me. The first statement was regarding the strain of my leadership.
Aye, that's in communication.
What was that?
That was the emergency
bell,
bell.
Rowan.
That was the emergency bell for some reason.
I'm not on medical, but do I still go, or...?
No, if you're not on medical division, you
I'm sure they'll be fine.
False alarm.
Unless you want to go.
I may have healing magic, Rowan, but I don't know anything about medical. If they brought me in there, there's nothing that they could do.
Yes, it's mostly for the medical division themselves.
Right.
Now, of course.
As you were saying, Tel'Kahras, please.
The first statement you made that of my lack of ability to perhaps function as leader due to the strain it places onto me. I will admit, for some time I thought that leading this team as I have done was what was straining me. Very much so, but I'm afraid the reality is a little harsher than that, as, well, these 3 team members know I haven't had a chance to have a proper conversation with Rowan until today. Yesterday was very busy after all. But, I may as well inform you of this. Much as to your own condition, I too suffer from bouts of tiredness. Of course, it's not in the face of occult magic. In fact, it seems to have a will of its own. Something about my mana signature is off, wrong, or that could just be something Chancellor Malik's saying to me because I'm a Drakshar. But it's something I'm trying to deal with as much as I can, and, well, the reason I've been able to function today is it's been one of the admittedly rare few days that it hasn't affected me too hard. In fact, Rowan, that stamina potion I'd taken was exclusively for myself, but I gave it to you because I didn't need it, and when I was exhausted, I made sure Val gave me a big slap around the face to keep me wide awake.
That is still not a very good idea. You should probably use a stamina potion next time.
I didn't have one on hand.
Sorry about that.
No, don't be at all. You needed it more than I
My
did.
apologies. I should have thought ahead.
Well, perhaps a consideration we can talk about in a prior mission plan in the future. Regardless, as we go on, there has indeed been some strain on my own schedule and my abilities to learn or advance in my own studies at this academy based on my position as leader. More recently, Anura was placed as second in command of this team, with Val in a position to provide his combat expertise in mission and take commands should I see fit. After all, he does have experience with a military, one whose tactics are quite unconventional, as I am led to believe.
They work.
Precisely. And so, my hope with this is that as I find out what is happening with me and how to address this very issue...
Lumen!
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need a steer.
Oh, fuck.
Alright.
What's happened? Ram can no longer see. I don't know. You're requested at the melee.
Because that's the medical power.
That is true.
Well, that's a shame. I would have preferred
I
to...
should go. Perhaps I can console him and say, yeah, you can make new eyes for you.
Val.
This is troubling.
It is indeed troubling, but,
Do you think it was cursed? Or?
He's been acting kind of strange the last few days.
He seemed alright in the captain's
Kept
meeting.
saying he's... Every time I've passed him, basically, he's been kind of feeling off, and then when I check in on him, he... Oh no, I'm fine, trust me. Standard thing.
I regret that my falling out with him was, I haven't been able to check in on him.
I've actually noticed that. He was pretty hostile towards yeah.
Right.
Well.
There were issues in Aqua following the game, but that is another topic.
If I...
Put together, but...
I may continue.
I don't know.
Again, this is something I'd prefer
very
to
important,
speak about in front of Anura and Kingsley as well, as the statements you've made involve them directly, but...
I know. That's just why I wanted to gather everyone together.
Yes. I'm glad we're alike in mind on that. Now, my condition is something I am actively trying to deal with, but it seems that the Chancellor, as our medical expert here, is as stumped as anyone else is. So, it seems to be an untreatable problem, even with me taking stamina potions to offset it in times of need, such as missions. So, I do agree with you entirely that I am under great strain. Now, I do not attest to this being due to my captain position, but I will say it certainly may affect my abilities as captain. And so, I would like very much for... Again, really, I'm sorry, you are free to make a judgment, of course, but Val, would you say I've been performing adeptly, considering my condition, or adeptly enough as your captain. If you consider I didn't have it.
Yes, you've done good enough.
Alright. Well, in that case then, the topic of secrecy, I believe, was brought up.
Yes.
There are times in which, well, secrecy is not the word I'd use to describe that stint. But there are times in which it is more apt for someone to speak to others alone as to not incite further disruption. If Val had been present at the lashing out from Kingsley and Anura, I dare say it might have gone very differently in influencing their opinions. I had managed to...
I would have agreed with them.
Precisely, which would have put me at fault. Which, admittedly, I do not know to believe whether I am or am not. You all performed fine, the mission went fine.
I'm rather concerned on my friend, so
Please.
I will bid you all farewell for now.
Go ahead, Val.
I'll keep you all informed on what has happened.
Good. Yes. Well, in that case, your second point, if you could reiterate.
Give me a moment to collect my thoughts.
Of course.
It was communication was the first one. As well as the state you're in.
Teachers, I believe, was one of the ones.
Yes.
The teachers, yes.
For whatever reason, you can see that they are working against you, yes.
Well, I would be inclined to agree with you. Of course he's going to not get along with me. I'm a Drakshar. He hates my guts. He says it openly.
Nay,
Of course
and that is why he doesn't want to help you.
But he does. For you see,
While you're under command.
I've questioned him on it, and his response is, much as you stated earlier to me, it is his duty. And so, despite his disdain and want to throw me out of my position, if he cannot find reason to do so, then I am proving him wrong. Perhaps it is something for a petty ego of mine, or perhaps it is to offset his ego. But, as you stated, the situation with teams is much greater than the sum of our parts, I suppose, and I think overcoming a small racial hatred is something that the Chancellor will have to do. Whether or not I am this team's captain, you'll still need to provide advice. And so this seems to be more of a personal issue. Now, if I may say, I've had a few private conversations with our team's advisor, Professor Nella. He has found my approach interesting, to say the least. In fact, he believes I've put a great challenge on myself in approaching the handling of this team in the way that I do. I think he thinks it would be easier if I were to have an iron grip and command, rather than to attempt to appeal to everyone's better nature here, despite the fact that several of the better natures are conflicting. Puts me directly in the line of fire to criticism against myself, which I'm glad you can provide. And so, whilst I do respect your point on the professors wanting me gone, perhaps, from my position, I don't think it's all of them. Would you agree? Would you say it is all of the professors?
No, it is not. But the ones that I need information from are keeping it from me until they have the Sashak, and that is why that I am asking you to at least give it to me for my time here. I cannot leave here without that information, or else it will doom all of A6.
Very well.
I promise you that I am not the bigoted, rich white girl living in a castle. What do you think I am? And I care about everyone, and everyone in all of Australia.
Cecilia, I must admit you have a funny way of showing it, but you're telling me that you're telling me that your true concern here is that the professors at this academy are holding information. No, wait, you don't have to hold it. The professors at this academy are withholding information from you and telling you to become the team leader.
That is what they have told me, yes.
I'm sorry for...
But this is why that I offer this to you. As proof. Hold this until I leave.
Alright, You know, to someone like me, this is a very valuable object. But...
And then that is why I am entrusting it to you. Because I trust you.
Very well. Then I will make sure it is treasured and well protected, as a sign of your trust. I apologize for... Well... What is there to apologize for, I suppose? Looking at you in a discrediting way when there seems to be a lot more on your mind than just a position of power, which is what I assumed it was, which in fact is, if I may say, what several of our team members assumed it was. There is a plight that you have that is something that needs to be resolved. It is something I'll be discussing in depth with Professor Nella and, if possible, with Chancellor Malik, as quite frankly the withholding of information to drive a team apart is... well, despicable, isn't it? I cannot believe that they would suggest such a damned thing, serving to put a further wedge in an already stained relationship. So I can assure you I'll do everything within my power to change that. And this is something I would like to discuss with the team as a whole. Of course, I understand that Raum is suffering, and I do worry for him myself, but yes.
This isn't the path that we need to take.
Then what would you suggest?
Give me back Captain for now, for the 3 months that I'm here. So they can learn that all that they can, and share it with the rest of you. When I leave, I will return it to you.
The 3 months that you're leaving? Is this to do with...
the marriage, yes.
Right, I did hear.
That is why it is so dire right now.
This is information that is of great need to you. Cecilia, How is the right way to word this? There is no right way.
I know that you don't care. You've told me yourself that your reason for being here was because you want power and fame, yes?
I wanted recognition, yes. And now, through the trial of team captaincy, I find myself, perhaps fortunately or unfortunately, being put with a great deal of worry for every single member of this team, as all of a sudden I find myself having something I haven't had before. A responsibility. And so, while it is very much something I'd like to say, yes, Cecilia, go ahead and take this role away from me. It's not right to do so, is it? How would I look in the eyes of the others? Really, if I did that? I'd look like an idiot.
Why can't we tell him? Or tell the others, yes?
That you'll lead for 3 months? Just to get information?
Yes.
Before leaving? Well,
we
Cecilia.
all must do what we must. This is a new world. We're stuck in this world of chaos and turbulence. You're asking yourself these questions now, and you didn't care when I was removed, yes?
I did care
you
when you
came
were
to me
removed,
later
which
and you
is why
lied.
I can tell you later.
You're exhibiting the same things that I was removed, yeah? Yet you don't see anything wrong with it.
No.
When you came up and you told me that the reasons for my removal were not what I thought, yes, and that they weren't valid, then what were the reasons for my removal? Those are some things that I ask all the time.
The reasons for your removal were given by our teammates. If you remember, my decision, it was left to me as a finality, was to demote you to second in command and have you take my place when I felt it was appropriate. Had you not have gone on a stint running off, then I would have perhaps have thought that now might have been an ideal time, considering your ability to show great capability for leadership. But now, the opinion that you have made to those within this team who were present for your removal is of someone who has walked away, stepped completely away from any conversation with this team, and badmouthed us to a great degree, to the point that I discuss it with many of the other captains. You are seen as a problem, Cecilia. I will state that openly. Not as much by our team as it is by the other captains. They seem to see it very greatly that I am one of your greatest woes, perhaps.
But now see how this is how we must...
No.
Fine.
Wait, Cecilia, before you... No, if you walk off, what gets resolved?
Nothing, but it seems that nobody wants to get things resolved, yes.
No, I do want to get something resolved.
But fine, I will humor your words then.
Very well.
My patience is short.
Understood. My suggestion is that we ensure that all of the team is present, and we will discuss your proposal for leadership for a temporary amount of time. The information that you need should not be waved like a carrot in front of you. It should be something that is promised to you when you are given a leadership position, right? If we trick them into thinking you've been given a leadership position and you're given your information before you go, then this is fine. But if the Academy will hold it out in front of you and refuse to give it you, can't you see they're just dangling something in front of you like a orphan with food? Perhaps you might not understand that analogy, but... Cecilia, you have very, very strong potential to lead, but your ability to take criticism and the opinions of others is forcing you to run away. I ask that you stay and listen and try to resolve with others their criticisms, the same way that I have had to with you today. I understand it is difficult, but if you can't do it, how can I? Show me that you're truly worthy of being a captain of this team, and despite the current circumstances with our team's composition and their feelings towards you, I'm more than happy to pitch such an idea. But you won't have to just convince me, as that's not how things work. You have to convince everyone else.
Of course not. And with the mind grip, are you sure? Are you sure that you want to take this route?
I see it as the best route to take.
Then no, I respect that.
Understood.
You're right.
Anura, how fares Ram?
Yes. He's currently unconscious but doing better. Kingsley will be staying tonight in the infirmary together with Clara.
I see.
Do we know what happened?
No. He seems to be plagued by something. We'll try and figure it out the best. Sorry. I just won't stop, will it? That'll be over by now. Just for a little while.
I'm sure a moment of rest will come when we need it.
Yeah, sure.
Well, if you...
Did I miss anything?
Conversation with Cecilia, yes. Very important.
My apologies.
I'm more than happy to fill you in later, but I would like to, perhaps bring something up to light. Anura, I'm well aware of your feelings towards Cecilia, but perhaps it's best that the two of you discuss them.
I don't... No, I don't... I disagree with what you said earlier on the fact that I despise you. I do not despise you. It's... We may disagree on certain... Sorry. I disagree.
I want you to be informed the Chancellor is not around.
Go on, don't let him interrupt you.
Sorry. I might disagree or perhaps even dislike certain behaviors or mannerisms, but we are a team after all. During the time of the meeting with the other captains regarding the mission, I had been under a little, let's just say, stressed from a lot of angles. And I was not exactly happy about a lot of things, so I might have been a lot harsher than I should have. My apologies.
I accept it. The only reason I said such harsh language as despise is because I came from Val earlier. But
it doesn't surprise
everyone
me.
Embellishes everything, yeah. So I wanted to assure you and the rest of the team that I'm desperately trying, and I'm not who many think I am. I'm not the bigoted, rich princess living in the castle, and as such, I have entrusted my crown. Yes, my soul. How do you say? Soul connection to that life, to Tel'Kahras. We'll return it when I leave in 3 months.
Yes, in 3 months.
In 3 months' time, I must leave with the marriage. Hopefully, it is something best. Basics when you did.
And Anura,
I'm sure it will.
I will reiterate, Rowan has been here to listen to all of this, but as a team, we all need to have a very, very important discussion regarding something for Cecilia's future and the future of a certain kingdom, namely A6, and important information. It may involve a brash decision that, well, is something I would very much like for us all to discuss as a team. After all, I might be your captain, but my decisions aren't my own. They are a hand of this entire team's. And so, once you are all available to talk, perhaps in a couple of days we could sit down and really go over this, as I assure you, it's as important to Cecilia as this was to Kingsley.
I understand.
Right. Good. Then we'll ensure it happens. Well, with that said, you've all done brilliantly, and I'm going to go grab a small drink. If you would like one, feel free to help yourself from my own bottle. And Madar is watching us from outside, as always.
Of course. It's been taking up residence in there since we have first arrived.
Yes. Well, that wasn't what I was expecting at all. It was making me too good. Ugh. I miss when I could be like Val and just be dubious whenever I'd like. Instead, now I have some sort of responsibility, and I fear it's changing me into someone who wants to do good, at least for a few people. Can't believe it.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Good night.
Have a good evening, Tal.
Yes, yourself too. You've activated your shroud.
Worried about the Madari.
I see. They are prowling.
Better safe than sorry.
Can you hear that?
I think I hear them. Yeah, I can. 1 second, actually. Speaking of safety precautions.
This is how we used to be. Now that is overkill, Rowan, but you know what?
It's really
You need
not.
to-
Those little bastards.
My God. I say we go greet the little fella. What's he gonna do? Hit you in your leg?
Oh, God.
We've already felt pain today, haven't we? My arm's still aching and, well, I could do with some sort of way to drain my mana.
And this is up for the next hour, so...
Take a drink first, for good luck, you know, and to celebrate. Everyone else seems to be a bit dampened, so... Understandably, that was a lot.
It was too much. More came out than I was expecting.
I'll leave it here. Val can finish it off if he wants. I do owe him a drink. Careful. Right. Let's go see this Madari.
Okay, good. Just making sure it's gone down.
It does catch you off guard. It is just white, no, so I wouldn't worry too much. Now, keep your eye out for that Madari. Remember, the important thing is perception. If you can see it coming, you can anticipate the strike, which means you can react before they do. Just keep your eye out. I heard him.
What's that doing?
He might be on our balcony. May have climbed up. There he is. Hello, friend. What have you got in store for us today?
There he is.
All right. Now here's a goal. We cannot harm the Madari, but I believe we should catch it.
What?
Did you hear that? Oh, it locked the door.
I mean, we have keys, don't we?
Yes, we do.
You give me some keys, so... Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well...
Yes. We do have a way into the door, thankfully. But let's continue with this. Imagine we didn't. What would we do?
I agree we continue this. I think we go an extra step with this, actually.
My goodness. Rowan, be careful. You have expended quite a bit of mana today.
I... actually, coming out of that mission had almost full.
I do admit you did take a potion, didn't you? Yes.
Yeah.
This is true. Well, he's not going to come out from that way.
Actually, with those 2 walls, though, we're getting a bit lower. So, that might be my last wall.
You might want to be careful with holding them for much longer.
You're right, you're right.
Now, keep your eye out. It could be anywhere within. Remember, the goal is to see him.
Yeah. Yes.
There he is.
Okay, well, there goes that shroud.
Strike.
Where'd he run to?
He went behind there. The corner.
And where?
Right side. Here. Perhaps we should keep some gestures in play for this. He can listen after all.
go. Hey, feed the prisoner.
What?
What?
Hello, Madari.
Yeah.
Come here, you. Oh, you're too quick. Did you just... is that a barrel? Did you just pull that up from there? You're kidding me. Where did he go? My goodness, Rowan, I've lost him. Where could the Madari have gone? Right there.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Bastard.
He's very tricky, very quick, this one.
I think that's the first time I've seen you use that spell.
Didn't need it earlier. Well, actually, I could have, but...
We did not need it on the stealth mission.
No.
Did you go up there?
I saw him run up. Again, got to keep your eye out. Perhaps he's on the balcony. I doubt Professor Bombadil's giving them Featherfall potions, so...
But they're cats, right? Can they just jump?
Good point. I have seen Zvirka do it, so... If I were a Madari, where would I be? Damn it. Well, Rowan, this one's clever. Smarter than the others, I dare say.
It's in one of the bedrooms.
Best be prepared when you go to sleep, then. Wait. Did you hear that?
No, I did not.
You've got to be kidding again. I'm glad we have keys, but... this Madari is really trying to get us to sleep out in the open.
Certainly.
Oh no, Madari have caused us a mild inconvenience. Whatever will we do? How is he locking them? Does he have one of the keys?
Oh god, maybe he has one of our keys?
Perhaps.
There's no way they can lockpick, right?
I hope not. Oh,
well,
never get caught off guard.
Maybe one for you, I suppose.
Alright. Did he just throw a smoke bomb?
I think so.
Did he actually do... Alright, Rowan, this Madari is generally terrifying, and I believe we need to tame it to our side.
Right. Well, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you think my shroud would stop that fall from hurting me?
Well, a shroud doesn't dissipate the kinetic energy from your fall, surely,
No, I didn't think so.
Your legs would still break.
Did not think so. Yep, okay, just making sure. But yeah, no.
Got you!
I figured I'd give it a shot.
Come here! Have you really got to beat me up every time? I'm just trying to hold you for a moment, Madari.
Yeah.
God damn. If I wasn't exhausted from a mission, I'd keep this up all night. He was there.
He didn't come through, did he?
No. He disappeared in a cloud of smoke yet again.
It was worth a shot, right?
Yes. He's there again. Maybe they should just make this academy into a Madari academy.
I'm gonna relock this door.
Yes, good idea. We should lock all the doors, actually. Well, I say that, but...
What's that? Okay.
The ladder goes
they
nowhere.
can get in, obviously, but at least we can hear them come in.
Yes. Well, Rowan, I'm going to have a wander around the campus and see if I can find somewhere under the stars to sleep tonight. I need it, I think. Again.
Yeah. It's fair enough. Did Cecilia come up here to go to sleep?
she did.
Interesting.
Truly.
I guess we are roommates now. I thought you were staying at the castle, but I suppose that's...
Times have changed.
I mean, I'm glad for it. Also gonna be an interesting sharing a room with a duchess. A duchess to be.
Well, remember, I've got her crown. Thanks for the follow.
Right, but the dukes wear crown?
She's technically a princess, I think. I'm not quite sure how it works, but...
Is she a princess?
I think.
Okay. No, I'll take your word on that. I thought she was...
Don't overstate it.
Everton's like a duke, I'm
Cecilia.
pretty sure. Okay, well, I mean, I wasn't planning on overstating it per se. I was just... The point is, like, high-born nobility.
Probably hide that.
Either way, I'll let you take off.
Of course.
I might do a little walk around and then go to sleep myself.
Well, suppose I'd best go put this crown away before it gets stolen by Amandari.
Oh, God. Please do.
Tiara. I suppose that's what it's called, right? Huh. Usually I'd be happy to have such a prized possession. This one's kind of sad. This is something that needs to be hidden properly. I suppose the best I can do for now. Into the case. Good job there was a small hole. Perhaps if I stitch that. Yes, that'll do it. A job for tomorrow, I feel. Quite easy to notice him in the distance, isn't it? He does stand out with that shroud of his. Perhaps everyone else has gone to sleep. Regardless, I needed this walk for myself. Finally, a moment to relax. Melons?
Yeah, Murtesh was walking around like this.
Huh.
No.
Well,
I'm gonna take these inside so they don't rot or whatever.
of course, food is precious. Look after it. Good night. So, despite the aching arm, today went well. I actually saw fear on Cecilia's face. Fear and sadness, and it wasn't something I actually aspired to see for once. I dare say there might be more to her. Of course there is. Seemingly to everyone here. It is unfortunate I've decided to do what I can for this team, but it has its rewards, I suppose. Somewhere up in the mountains again, perhaps. Or maybe the warehouse. It has been some time. No one sleeps there now anyway, do they? Remind myself of times gone by. I did used to keep that couch behind the mirror, after all. Wonder what happened to it. No, instead now, ale barrels. Statues and supplies. Siege weaponry from the prior castle owners. I wonder if they did have to fight off the Fae. Guess it's not something we have to worry about now, is it? Yet still we have fireworks. Perhaps a celebration will be in order once nature is restored to this dying place. I must say there's a bit of a smell in here. The last students to come on through clearly didn't do a good job of keeping it clean. Then again, neither did I. Always used to look out from here. Or was it this one? I think both. Ah, damn it, my arms, I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. So this is where you ended up, Turned over on your back. Well, that is unfortunate. I suppose it is nature then. But perhaps we should try and hold this as we move for once. Remember the Drozen sun and its warmth. There it is. Hold it tight to yourself. Shape it. Remember the sandstorms and how they used to blind you. Remember the scorching hot rays. Remember what exactly? It's all just a feeling, isn't it? Nothing. Nothing more. It's not like I can remember anything anyway. It's not like I can remember anything that matters outside of this place. Perhaps that's what this is. Me and my teammates. It's just me trying to reaffirm a purpose for myself. I thought it was to find fame before. To have a name that wouldn't be forgotten. But perhaps there's a certain beauty in having a name remembered fondly by a few. Even despicable bastards like Val. Well, this feels like it's starting to really drain me. I need to find somewhere to sit, to relax, just maybe to let go. Not somewhere people will find me. I won't look right. Hold it down. A bit longer. Just a bit longer before it leaves you. That's all you've got to do. Hold the memory, but still think. It's the first step. Right? Knowing the facts. I suppose there are worse places to lose my concentration. Well, it seems I've outlived the rest of the academy. Good. Perhaps tonight again, I'll get some good rest. And perhaps the academy won't look so dead tomorrow. End of roleplay. Thank you very much for watching. What? I'll go TP back.
Is it Blue? No, it's Cecilia.
If I gave you 3 seconds.
Okay, let's go ahead and switch us over to the Q&A. I understand there's been some problems this stream, and I do apologize for it. I can't believe I've had so many bloody problems, to be honest with you. I do need to start over your toolkit so I can actually read the chat. But yeah, we've had several crashes that were actually resolved when I restarted my computer, which is interesting, to say the least. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of memory leak going on, perhaps with OBS, I don't know. But yeah, it was causing some major, major problems. Awful, actually. So yeah, good old laggy time. But let's go set up our camera, shall we? Oh yeah, I've got my other cam on still. Ow, my eyes there. Camera. Wait, please tell me I had the right. Oh, whoa! Everything went black for a moment. I'm wondering if it's. It may well be that's what's killing me. Okay. Yep. 100%. Whoa. Okay, well, we'll keep still as possible. So. Even our scenes aren't connected. Wait a minute, did OBS crash? OBS didn't crash, right? No? Okay. Good. As long as it's still working partly. Well, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I understand today might have been a laggy mess, but I tell you what, at least I got it all as footage. I will look into what happened with the stream lag as soon as possible and do what I can about it. If you know anything on it, please just drop me a message or something. If you're watching this VOD, or drop something in YouTube comments. Otherwise, yeah, I'll see what I can do. Again, the crashes, weird that they were happening. They seem to fix themselves after a PC restart, so I'll look into that as well. But yeah, can't never not have technical problems, it would seem, but at least I was able to be present for pretty much all the session that it mattered for, and we had a lot of crashes amongst all the Rosewood students when they came back into the map. Maybe the combined weight of 2 maps at once was causing their Steam VR to give up, I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, thank you very much for watching episode 22 of Rosewood Academy. The mission was incredibly quick. It went well. It was a stealth-oriented mission. I can't find too much fault with it as a player outside of it, you know, being roleplay stuff. So that's it. It's just elements that happen because we're not actually really doing that, I suppose. So yeah, I think it went really well. Other than that, though, if you've got any questions, leave them in YouTube comments as usual, and I'll go ahead and answer. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope to God the next one isn't a laggy mess. Can you hear the pessimism? And have a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Let's go get the lag sorted, shall we? Whoa, good night, everyone. It was still a good session, by the way. You're all great.